Good morning, beautiful beings. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Melissa Baker, facilitator of the 1U Caregiver Support Group and the Roots and Wings Circle for Making Friends with Death, also currently serving as worship lead here at 1U. With me in today's service are our special guest, the Reverend Dr. William Schulz, Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrell, Music Director, Aubrey Connolly Candelario, Accompanist, Daniela Monzon Villegas, and drummer, Jacob Hike, Randy Puhler on bass, board member, Beth Tura, and today's chalice lighter is also our special guest. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning, so thank you. We greet you this morning, old friends and new, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, body size, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. We have a few special announcements for you today. Next Sunday, join us as Reverend Marnie Harmony leads us through the tale of Reverend Money and the Fourth Stone, our annual sermon on the amount. The Share the Love auction went live yesterday. We've been talking about it for a while. How many people have taken a look at the offerings? Excellent. How many people have placed at least one bid? Wow. How many people plan to take a peek this week? Wonderful. Fantastic. Remember to bid early and bid often. Stop by the tables in Gore Hall after service to see some of the items that are up for auction. It is our shared generosity that helps this church to grow, this beloved community to thrive, and enables the outreach that supports those who are seeking a spiritual home that is safe and welcoming of their authenticity. Roots and Wings, I'm doing this shameless plug here, y'all, is an open circle for conversations about death and dying. If you are waiting for the class to start over, please know that every time we meet is a new beginning. So if you're interested in making friends with death as a path to overcoming fear of the one guarantee we are given at birth, please know you are welcome to join us on third Wednesdays at 5 and or fourth Tuesdays at 1 at the studio in the Enrichment Center. This month, we are discussing the work of Die Wise author Stephen Jenkinson. There is so much going on at 1U with the intention of bringing us into the healing comfort of community. As we walk with the theme of embodying resilience this month, imagine what more time in safe, sacred spaces might do to lift your spirit. And then pop online to see where you feel called, be it the Common Read Book Club that invites you this Thursday to bring a book that has moved you to share, or the nonfiction book group that meets next Sunday to discuss Neil Postman's amusing ourselves to death, public discourse in the age of show business, or the 1U outdoor weekend, which includes a Saturday of togetherness in nature with food and activities for those who don't wish to camp overnight. That would be me. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. All other announcements are posted on slides before and after the service and can be found with links in the weekly update or on our website. If you would like to follow along with today's service, please use the QR code shown on the monitor to view the order of service. Thank you again for being here in person and online today. So I am welcoming our chalice lighter, Bill Schulz. I'm going to tell you more about him in a minute, but right now say these words with me. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening song, This Land is Your Land. Bright and welcoming was what Reverend Bill asked for our start today, and I think that song does it. Whenever we have a guest at our pulpit, I think of the service as a beautifully wrapped gift. And if you know me, you know I love the wrapping, the rich paper, the sparkly ribbon, even though there's glitter, which might put some people off. And especially the anticipation of what's inside. Today we gather to unwrap the theme of embodying resilience. It's a timely gift. In a world where the morning news often makes us want to stay under the covers, resilience is our capacity to withstand the weight of the world. When I ask myself how I can possibly face another day of difficult headlines, the answer is always the same. It is you, beloved community. You are the light, the hope, and the reason I practice my favorite love language, the simple, radical act of showing up. Our guest today speaks that same language. While our beloved Reverend Margalie is on sabbatical, we are honored to welcome a giant of our faith, the Reverend Dr. Bill Schulz. With a lifetime of leadership from the Unitarian Universalist Association and Amnesty International USA to the UU Service Committee, Dr. Schulz has spent over 50 years embodying the very resilience we seek today. He has gathered a lifetime of wisdom into a bundle for us to unwrap together, like a new favorite book. We are so grateful you're here, Bill. But first, let us untie the ribbon and enter into worship. If you are joining us online for the first time, please say so in the comments. If you're joining us for the first time or even the third time in worship today, please stand if you're willing so we may offer you warm welcome. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Now let's all get up and mingle until we hear the jingle.
Mike, do I have a mic?
No, it was on the chair.
No. I meant, is it on? My name is Judith. For all the new folks in the room, my name is Judith Stein-Farrell. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment here, and this is the Time for All Ages, in which I invite any children, youth, come on, Ruby, including Ruby, youth, young at heart, who care to join me up here. Hey there. Ooh. It's awesome. It's okay. It's a NASA Hello Kitty. I don't think Hello Kitty knew they would be going into space. Hi, welcome. So this morning, we're going to talk about, Reverend Schulz is going to talk to us about, talk to the grown-ups today about their journey and the resilience of hope and love and happiness. And I wanted to share a couple of stories with you and maybe talk to you about it as well. So some of you know that I've lived in 7 of the 48 contiguous, there are 50 states, but 48 that are connected, right? 48 contiguous states. And many years ago, my family moved from Colorado to New Jersey. And we had to stay in a hotel for about 2 months while we waited for our house to finally close and all the fun things happen. And my kids were in school during this time. My son was in school during this time. And he would come back, and we were 2 cats, 2 dogs, and 2 kids and 2 adults in a small hotel room. And I would bring the kids back from school after a full day in school to this itsy-bitsy hotel room waiting to move into this house, and there was nothing to do. And then for days and days and days and days, it had been raining. And the kids, and we couldn't go out, So how would that feel to y'all? Not so great? Is this one working too? Mike, is this one on? Is this one on? Let's see.
Hello.
Nope. Do I need to flip the thing? There we go.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. So how would it feel?
Not so great.
Not so great. Yep. How would you think it'd feel?
Boring.
Boring, yep. Anybody else? Yep.
It will feel like sad.
Yep. So, go ahead, Maya.
I'd be lying in my bed figuring out what to do.
Ooh, you got right to the point. That's exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to figure out how to bring some joy into the family with the kids. So one day, after it had been raining all day long, the dog and the kids and I went for a walk outside. Guess what we did? Charlotte's got it! We jumped in all the puddles. We made, right. It was awesome. And the kids got to giggle and laugh and slept much better that night. So now I'm going to tell you another story. So anybody have a guess what this is?
Oh, a Valentine's box?
It looks like a Valentine's box. Go ahead. Is it interesting?
I'm confused.
You're confused. Okay. So there are a lot of. Go ahead. One more guess.
A treasure box?
A what?
Treasure
box. Perhaps.
Wait, maybe a gift.
Maybe a gift. So indeed it was. So one of the stories, right? We have a lot of stories in our faith about how things happened in the world and how things came to be. We have biblical stories, and we have stories from Earth, and we have ancient myths. And this is a story out of a Greek myth called Pandora's Box. Have you ever heard that one? No. Yeah, okay. So once upon a time, when the Earth was still people were still kind of settling themselves in, Zeus, in this story, was the head of all the gods, and Zeus arranged for two people down on Earth to get married, and one was the brother of Prometheus, and Epimetheus is his name. I had it written over there, and I had to try and remember it. Epimetheus, and this young woman named Pandora. And Epimetheus and Pandora had this big wedding, and Zeus presented them with this beautiful box. Really curious. Maya, you look curious. You look, yeah.
You said you were curious.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're looking curious. Okay.
Wait, what are we doing again?
Nope, I wasn't. Yep, I just thought you had something to ask. It's okay. So, all right. So, what's the question? She asks the question, what's inside? But what did Zeus tell them?
I think I know.
What did Zeus tell them? Don't tell me what's inside. Tell me what Zeus told them.
Not to open the box.
Not to open the box. Said, no, you can have this beautiful box, but you're not supposed to open it. Pandora was really curious about what was inside the box. What do you think's going to be inside the box? Don't give it away. What do you think's inside the box? What would God put inside the box? Candy. That might be, right. What would Pandora maybe want? Money? Love? Jewels, maybe? Right? Yeah.
I know. A free pass to wherever he wants.
A free pass to
Wherever he wants.
wherever they want. Okay. So Pandora had been told they can't open the box, right? So if you were told you can't open the box, what do you want to do?
Open it.
Open. All right. So Pandora decided one day to just forget what Zeus said and open the box. Oh, no! And all these things jumped out. And they were things like, and this was early days of humankind, right? They were things like illness and fear and death and what else? Sorrow and all the grumpy stuff, right? And really quickly, Pandora went, and all this stuff went flying out into the world, right? But she closed the box, and there was something still there. What do you think she found? God, you can't wait. What'd she find?
She found hope in the box.
You want to open the box? What's right there?
Rainbow.
A rainbow, right? Rainbow in another story is a symbol, in another of our founding stories, is a symbol of hope. Nope, it's right here, it's right there. Okay, yep. There you go. All right. So my message is today that sometimes, right, sometimes even though things aren't great, there's somewhere to look for hope. Sometimes it's in the puddles. Sometimes you got to look deeper in the box and turn around and look for where the hope is. And in my life, that was in the puddles. All right? Does that make sense? All right, cool. All right, may we now please form a loving arch so our children may go off to their classrooms. You can take it.
Good morning. The reading this morning is from a recent column in The New Yorker by Ian Fraser, in which he offers up prayers that he invokes in his everyday life. See if these are familiar. He says that at his workplace, he might offer up a prayer like this: "Dear God, why hasn't that idiot Cyril been fired yet?" At the pharmacy, he might say, "Oh, for God's sake, you are not next in line." Or, "Jesus Christ, why did the pharmacist have to yell out, 'Bowel prep for Ian'?" At the supermarket, he prays, "Good God Almighty, how do you get these tear-off produce bags to open?" And finally, anywhere at all, he may pray, "Dear Lord, where the hell is my cell phone? My tears are bitter, my bones are poured out like water. Oh, have mercy on me." Oh, there it is, thank God.
Pretty good. Good morning, everybody. I'm Beth Tura, and I'm the president-elect of the Board of Trustees. As we invite you into generosity, we are affirming that this time in our service is not simply an invitation for you to practice giving. It is a reminder that your giving is necessary for you to exist and to thrive, and to continue to engage the good news of Unitarian Universalism. It affords us to be the change we wish to see in our world as we take action, rather than waiting for others to do so. Reverend Alice Anacheka Naseman wrote these words of offering called Honoring Church Ancestors. They wrote, "Let us take a moment to honor the ancestors of this church, the people who came together to create a home for liberal religion here in Orlando, who worked to raise money for a building, who sat in committee meetings and created bylaws, who chopped and marinated and baked for potlucks, who painted and weeded and pounded nails and washed countless dishes, who gathered to worship, to learn, to grieve, to heal, to serve, to build justice, to transform their lives and this world. We are the recipients of an incredible gift and a beautiful vision. Let us do our part to keep this congregation strong, vital, and thriving for the generations to come." Today's full collection will go to the ministries of this congregation. Note that you can also give online, and remember that when you donate through Zephy, you can change the service fee at checkout to 0. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of February is Hope Community Center. Should you choose to make a direct donation to our partner, please let us know for recording purposes. The morning offering will now be collected, and thank you in advance for your generosity.
There is a place we'll go where there is mostly quiet, flowers and butterflies, a rainbow lives beside it, and from a velvet sky, a summer storm, you can feel the coolness in the air, but you're still warm. And then a mighty roar will start the sky to cry in, but not even lightning will be frightening my lion. And with no fear inside, no need to run, no need to hide, you're standing strong and tall, you're the bravest of them all. If on courage you must call, then just keep on trying and trying, and I'll be a lion in your own way. Be a lion.
Thank you. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship. Melissa?
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Aubrey and Danny and everyone for all that you do. This is the time we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or help with, or have a joy that you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday during worship. You can send an email to joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org during the week. If you are attending in person, you can also fill out a card at the registration table and hand it to an usher before the start of service. We also participate in a candle lighting ritual. Bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come as you are. Your whole self is welcome in this sacred space we are creating together. The flowers this morning are a beautiful arrangement, stunning, offered by Sandy Andriaccio, celebrating love this Valentine weekend. From Kelsey Hughes, on Thursday, Benji had a bad allergic reaction that lasted until Saturday. We are thankful for modern medicine and all of the kind people who helped Benji feel better. He's resting at recovering at home. Benji, we're all holding you close. We hold our communities and our country with care and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all of the small and large ways that will move the arc of the universe toward justice. And please let us remember that the arc is long. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community shared today, and for those held close to our hearts, let's pray, let's celebrate, and send each other healing energy. Let's take a moment to breathe deeply and soften our eyes, to hold close this prayer for resilience through connections by Reverend Michelle Collins. Source of love, spirit of interdependence, we give thanks for the web that holds us, the hands that have steadied us, the voices that remind us we are not alone, the presence of those who have leaned on us just as we have leaned on them. Resilience is not a solitary triumph. It is woven through community, shared meals, gentle questions, laughter that breaks through grief, courage borrowed from one another when our own runs thin. In this moment, let us remember that we are stronger together than apart. May we continue to offer and receive care, trusting that our connections sustain us, even when we cannot behold the whole picture. Blessed be the bonds that hold and that keep holding. Now, invite the light to find your eyes as we ignite the flames of our shared intentions. This is the final layer of the wrapping, y'all. Please join me now in a call and response reading with our 3 candle lighting ceremony as our beloved Charlotte lights each candle. One for the mystery and unknown that lies before us, one for joy, one for sorrow. May these flames hold all that we bring into this circle of care. This first candle is for all the joys in our hearts, for the beauty and wonder of this world that holds us. We give thanks for the joys that brighten our lives. This second candle is for the sad and difficult happenings in our lives, for grief over the losses we have borne. Let this flame remind us that we need not carry them alone. We hold one another in compassion and care. The third candle is for all that remains unknown, a flame of mystery and possibility. We open our hearts to mystery and to hope. Together, these 3 flames, joy, sorrow, and mystery, burn as one. Let them remind us that whatever we bring into this circle of care, we are held in a greater light, and we do not journey alone. May it be so.
With loving kindness, may we be well, may we be filled with loving kindness.
First, let me say to Aubrey, I've heard a lot of musical soloists in churches, but you're pretty damn good. I have been preaching for 50 years since my ordination in November of 1975 without appreciable effect. And so I'm grateful that Margalie has given me the opportunity to try one last time. But that's not the reason that Margalie is one of my favorite people in the world, and it's not because she told me I was her favorite professor in theological school, though that helps. And it's not because she laughs at my jokes, though that really helps. It's because Margalie is a thoroughly authentic person. There is no games playing, no phoniness. I love Margalie because she is fully and squarely who she is in the world. And that's an unusual quality, and an admirable quality, and a healing quality. And so you are as fortunate to have her as your minister as I am to have her as my friend. So I thank Margalie for giving me one last opportunity to preach one last sermon. And I also want to say a word of greeting to Marnie. Marnie and I have been friends for 52 years, exactly 52 years. And it's wonderful to see you and to be in this place that has meant so much to you. I call it my last sermon. I expect it to be my last sermon, but that's a dangerous thing to aver. Some years ago, a ministerial colleague of mine was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and told that he had a minimal time to live, and he informed his congregation of his situation and preached what he advertised as his last sermon, but then he didn't die. So he preached a second last sermon, and then another, and another, until he finally confessed to his congregation, who frankly were getting a little tired of saying goodbye to him, that he was terribly sorry not to have died yet. So, you see, there is danger in calling something a last sermon, especially since, as far as I know, I'm not in imminent risk of death. Actually, I have been preaching for 56 years. I gave my first sermon at age 19 to a small church outside Cleveland. The sermon lasted 45 minutes. I thought perhaps I was going on a bit too long when people started not just looking at their watches, but shaking them at their ears. I trust you'll not need your watches this morning. Throughout my ministerial career, I have been plagued by three conundrums. The first is that I wanted my religion to make sense, but I also wanted it to be lyrical. By making sense, I meant that I didn't want to spew from the pulpit a bunch of twaddle, blather, baloney, poppycock, hokum, hooey, gibberish, tommyrot, malarkey, drivel, dribble, and drool, if not to say monkey doodle, as I had heard so many ministers do. I wanted what I said to stand up to philosophical and scientific scrutiny. I loved the story of the theologian who said to a philosopher, "You philosophers are like a blind person looking in a dark room for a black cat that isn't there." And the philosopher replied, "Yes, and if I were a theologian, I'd find the cat that isn't there." I wanted no imaginary cats to wander into my convictions. Now, I know that rationality is highly out of favor within Unitarian Universalism these days, which is a shame, seeing how a denigration of reason and science at the highest levels of government puts all of our lives at risk. I wanted to see whether I could pursue a religious faith that was both intellectually defensible and poetically rich, open to mystery, brimming with radiance, unafraid of emotion, grounded in affection. In short, lyrical. I wanted my sentences to sing. The Buddhist philosopher Alan Watts called what I was looking for prickly goo. And that's what I've been trying to articulate for more than 50 years, prickly goo. And the second conundrum had to do with the meaning of life. Ministers are supposed to know a lot about the meaning of life. I took an advanced degree in philosophy, read a lot of books, talked to a lot of people to try to figure out the meaning of life. But I couldn't get over the fact that the sun will eventually run out of hydrogen and die, and that will be that. If life has some larger, overarching metaphysical point, it's clearly got an expiration date attached to it. On the other hand, that won't happen for 5 billion years. We've got some breathing room here. Maybe I decided I should stop worrying about the meaning of life and concentrate on the meaning of lives, on how to encourage human beings to sculpt our lives in such a way that we revel in beauty, hold fast to tenderness, and make glad the journeys of those who travel with us. Since every single one of us is but a brief upsurge of organized consciousness flitting through the cosmos for a millifraction of a second, we might as well make the most of it, don't you think? But it was the third conundrum that was the toughest. From an early age, I was impressed by how fragile and tragic life is. One of my early childhood friends died of leukemia at age 10. My family was not wealthy, but I knew lots of people who lived in sheer squalor compared to us. My parents tried to protect me as a child from life's vagaries, but reality kept breaking through. "Oh dear," my father wrote to his parents, "young Bill is just fascinated by John Wilkes Booth. Should I be worried?" And yet at the same time, I found life delightful. There's no other word for it, filled with pretty things and happy thoughts and funny moments and sweet people. How could something so etched with bleakness be also so rich with lusciousness? E.B. White said, "Every morning I awake torn between the desire to save the world and the desire to savor it. This makes it hard to plan the day." The Japanese call this mono na awari, the fleeting beauty of transient things, and they advise us when we drink our tea to sip it first with the tip of the tongue to taste its umami, its bitterness, and then to roll it to the back of the tongue to taste the floral or the sweet. Oh dear, should I be worried? Yes, indeed, we should all be worried, but also thrilled by life's wonders. It's like the campers who undertook a 5-day trek into the mountains. They drew lots to see who would cook the first night's dinner, and they agreed that that person who cooked the first dinner would keep on cooking until somebody complained about the food. And after a few nights of no complaints, this first cook became frustrated. So he gathered up all the animal dung he could find and he mixed it up into a great big stew. And that night, the other hikers dug into the stew eagerly. But after the first bite, one of them sputtered out, "Why, this is crap! Oh, but it's good, it's good!" Life's a lot like that, isn't it? So these are the three paradoxes I've experienced in my life and ministry: a desire that life both makes sense and be lyrical, a determination that our lives have meaning even if the universe couldn't care less, and a yearning to reconcile dung and delight. If we can achieve the right balance between these three tensions, we'll probably have a pretty good life. Well, except for two remaining problems, two obstacles to complete contentment. The first obstacle is other people. Other people do stupid things like shout out bowel prep for Ian. Other people struggle with meaning in their lives. Other people destroy democracy and perpetuate racism and commit genocide, and in the process threaten to rid the world altogether of delight. I think all of you people will agree that the first problem is other people. And the second obstacle to blissful existence is death. Just when we've got it all figured out, we die. An African proverb has it that when a person dies, it's like a library burning down, all that wisdom gone to dust. Shouldn't it be the reverse? Shouldn't it be that we are born knowing everything we need to know, and we gradually use up that knowledge over our lifetimes so that when we come to die, we are as ignorant as babes, all those library books checked out in other people's hands. So, faced with these two obstacles, I decided when I was about 17 to go into the Unitarian Universalist ministry. I figured it would be a great place to fix the world and get more comfortable with the reality of death. To find out if that was true, I asked the minister of my home church in Pittsburgh what he liked best about the ministry. I expected him to say something like helping people or fighting for justice. But he said, nobody knows when you get to work in the morning. That sealed the deal for me. Now, I think it's probably fair to say I haven't done a very good job of fixing other people in the world. I hardly need to tell you that this country's in far worse shape today than in 1975 when I was ordained. On the other hand, I have learned over the course of the last 50 years something very important about repairing the world. And that is that the values you and I care about, treating each other decently, protecting the weak, limiting the power of strong men, cherishing the earth, these are still the prevailing values of the vast majority of people around the world. They may be under more threat today than they have been in a long, long time, but they remain the shared values of the vast majority of people in this world, and ultimately, they will prevail. Now, the important question is, how can I be sure that they will prevail? Because the words of the tyrants themselves give the game away. Why is it that Benjamin Netanyahu has denied that Israel has committed crimes against humanity in Gaza when the world can see for itself that Gaza has been destroyed out of all proportion to the crimes committed against Israel? Why is it that Vladimir Putin defended his assault against Ukraine as necessary to defeat Nazis? Why is it that Xi Jinping calls his slave labor camps friendly vocational training centers? Why do extractive corporations always claim that they are protecting the earth when they are raping it? And why does Donald Trump fear he is going to hell? Twice in the last 6 months, Trump has speculated that he won't make it into heaven. We won't tell him he has nothing to worry about since there is no hell. Let's just keep him worrying. The reason all these tyrants couch their... The reason... I guess that was Trump getting his revenge. So the reason all these tyrants couch their evil behavior in righteous terms, the reason that Trump worries about hell, is because they know that what they are doing is at odds with the prevailing norms of civilized society. The reason they exploit their followers' fears, the reason they try to keep people terrorized, is because they know that they are violating the human community's highest values, and so they appeal to fear. They know that fear often beats hope in the short term. Fear often beats kindness for a while, but this is the lesson of history. If the children of hope don't give up, hope will always win in the end, because people cannot live in fear alone. Hope won't reassert itself by magic, of course, and a lot of vulnerable people, be they Gazans or Ukrainians or immigrants or trans folk, will suffer before it does. So our job is very simple. Our job is to keep the faith, to side with the outcasts, to patch up the bloodied, and to say to the principalities in power, you will not silence us. You will not be rid of us. You will not make us cower, for we will remain here, confident, strong, and faithful, always faithful, ever faithful, until the coming of the next great day. The proof of our victory is in the voices of our adversaries. I talk a lot more about this in that book that you're going to buy after the service. So, having disposed of the worst problems caused by other people, we come up against that final little obstacle to pure contentment, namely death. I keep trying to forget about death, but I'm 76 now, and Samuel Johnson's observation that when a person is to be hung in the morning, it concentrates the mind wonderfully, seems truer than ever. I went into the ministry, as I said, because I hated the idea of death, hated with every fiber in my being the fact that everyone I loved would die, and I figured that maybe if I came up against that cruel reality with some regularity, I would feel better about it. Not happy, of course, but more reconciled. Well, it didn't quite work out the way I hoped it would. When someone you love dies, nothing makes it better other than tears, memories, gratitude, and the comforting arms of those around you. You just have to go through hell. There is no way around it. But though the ministry didn't lessen my pain at other people's dying, it has made it a little easier to face my own whenever that comes. And here then are some of what ministry has taught me about dying, what you might call Bill Schulz's 6 rules for how to cope with your dying. 1, meditate upon the first law of thermodynamics, that energy can be changed from one form or another, but never destroyed. Want to be part of a distant galaxy? Eventually, you're going to get your wish. 2, stare at the night sky. I find it impossible to realize how majestic creation is and how insignificant we are, and not to chuckle. 3, take a walk in a cemetery. It's a great way to convince yourself that if all these people could do it, I can too. 4, immerse yourself in nature, not just because it's inspirational, but because it embodies the fundamental lesson that when the movie's over, it's somebody else's turn to sit in the theater. 5, avoid toxic people and get right with those you love. It's nice to think that only a handful of people will be happy to hear you're dead. And finally, and most importantly, immerse yourself in gratitude and grace. Gratitude for whatever gifts you have been given, starting with the fact that by the gift of grace, you got here in the first place. Now, I don't want you to think I've mastered this dying thing. I can become just as anxious as anyone else waiting for medical test results, but occasionally I can remind myself that we are all held snugly in the palm of creation, that anxiety is the price we pay for consciousness, and at the end of the day, it will somehow all be right. So that's what I've learned these past 50 years. Try to avoid nonsense, but do it lyrically. Forget about the meaning of life and just try to get your own stuff together. Remember, there's a lot of dung in the world, but a lot of glory too. Fight hard for what is right, knowing that you may not get to the promised land, but that it's still there and shining. And at the end of the day, rest calmly and securely in the palm of creation. And one last thing. I suppose that at some point in our lives, most of us wonder about the legacies we leave, whether our lives have made a difference, had a point. And the last thing I've learned is this, that each of us has a much greater impact on the world than we ever imagined. A few weeks ago, my wife Beth and I had some friends over to the house. We didn't know them well. Simon began talking about his mother, who is now in her 80s, but at age 3 was rescued from occupied Czechoslovakia thanks to a man named Nicky Winton. Nicky Winton was a British stockbroker who heard of the Nazi terrors in Eastern Europe and arranged in 1939 for 5 trains to take children out of Prague and resettle them in Britain, the so-called Kindertransport, you may know of it. The 5 trains made the trip safely, but the 6th was intercepted by the Nazis, and all the children in it were sent to the camps. And for the rest of his life, Winton felt guilty about that 6th train, berated himself for his failure. In 1988, a British television program invited Winton to come for an interview in front of a live audience of several hundred people to talk about his life. Winton recounted his story and his regrets about the 6th train. And then the interviewer turned to the audience and said, "Would anyone here who was on one of Mr. Winton's 5 trains please stand up?" And about a dozen people stood. And then the interviewer said, "Would anyone here who is a descendant of someone Nicky Winton rescued please stand up?" And every single person in the auditorium stood up. Nicky Winton had saved 669 people, and more than 6,000 of their descendants were alive because he had, including our new friend Simon. Very few of us, of course, can do what Nicky Winton did, but all of us can opt for kindness and a generous heart, and that leaves the only legacy anyone really needs. As Naomi Shihab put it, at the end of the day, having known sorrow is the deepest thing, it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. So my last word at the end of one last sermon is simply this: hold tight. Hold tight to what and who you love, my friends, and then blow a kiss to the wind and hail it on its journey to eternity. Amen.
Thank you for the gift of your valuable time. I'm a little verklempt over here, and wisdom, Dr. Schulz. We look forward to the opportunity to connect with you following today's service over in Gore Hall. Now, please rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, number 108, My Life Flows in an Endless Song.
ringing, it sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? Though the tempest round me roars, I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love prevails in heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging, when friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
Oh, wow. Now that we have taken our time savoring the gift of this Sunday morning, filled with mutual kindness, care, and generosity, and the richness of a voice practiced in the art of resilience, we get to hold these thoughts in our hearts and hands. We turn them over to find a place of honor and reflection. As you leave this sanctuary, may the ribbon of this community stay tucked in your pocket, a reminder that you do not face the morning news alone. Go forth with the courage to show up, the strength to withstand, and the love to light the way. Blessed be and amen. Beloveds, worship is ended, and now the service truly begins. And Dr. Schulz is going to help us with extinguishing the chalice. Please say these words with me as we extinguish this flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry into the world until we are together again. Now come join us for food and fellowship in Gore Hall, or stop by the Get to Know 1U Hub on the patio if you'd like to learn more about us and help us get to know you. For those with an interest in today's topic, I think you're going to be very busy today, Bill. Dr. Schulz will be available to sign copies of his latest book, Reversing the Rivers, a memoir of history, hope, and human rights, which includes many stories from his years of leadership in the human rights movement. Now play us out, Danny.